All right. Welcome to it, Christian Ramey. This is another segment where I'm the motherfucking host now, bitch.
All right.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about the sloppy horror rating for this movie, The Shining. Now, if this is your first time here, congratulations, you made it. Let me explain to you how this works. Our rating system It's 10 out of 10 points. We have 4 categories. 3 of those categories are worth 3 points. The last category is worth 1 point to equal 10 points. And I asked Christian Ramey what his horror movie rating is because he is a fucking horror nerd and he knows about everything that there is to know about horror movies. I don't. I'm just kind of here. So we're going to go on to our first category, which is worth 3 points, and that is casting.
Yeah. Well,
tell me about it.
Mark, this is a perfect casting situation. This is a 3 out of 3. Now, whether you agree with it or disagree because you hate Shelley Duvall, you cannot deny the chemistry between Jack and Shelley on screen. You believe Shelley was Danny's mom, 100%. Like, it's weird to me to think that if they didn't have a relationship after this movie, you're kind of like, give her a call. Give her a call. You guys should get lunch.
She wants to know how your last test went. Help her out.
Send her a Christmas card or something. They like that kind of shit, So, birthday phone calls. So you really believe that was her mom, the mom, all together? Because there ends up being a lot of people in this movie, but not a lot of people that get a lot of screen time or matter. But the people that didn't, like even the bartender, the actor's name's slipping me, but that guy killed it.
Lloyd
killed it, didn't he?
Super creepy looking too. But he's just...
Your money's no good here, Mr. Torrance.
Yeah, just the ghosts were great. And, of course, above all, Jack Nicholson.
You know that scene?
Number one craziest dude ever is perfect to play a crazy man having cabin fever, ready to murder his wife and son.
Oh, yeah. He's just born for it.
Yeah.
That scene where they were doing all the, the ballroom scene, where it was like the Roaring Twenties and everybody was in there.
Yeah.
No one was speaking. He made them pantomime, just mime all the scenes and shit. Kubrick did. So when you see them they're just doing that. They're not talking. They're just mouthing words and shit, smoking cigarettes. And then later he added in post edit some noises of chatter, but he made everyone shut the fuck up and just mime.
That probably works. I mean, that's the best way to get clean audio.
It looks kind of weird though too, because you can tell that it's new for people and it makes them look ghostly. Because they're like an animatronic fucking thing. Watch it again and watch the people chilling. They look kind of animatronic, and you can kind of tell that they're not talking, but their movements don't look as fluid because they aren't. Even though they're acting well, it just looks a tad strange, and it kind of adds to it. Makes them look like fucking ghosts.
I'm trying to picture that now. You're right. There's some. I knew there was something interesting about it. I just couldn't really quite put my finger on it, so that definitely helps. Yeah. So
you know that scene took because that's the bar scene included. So that took 14 hours. They started at 9 in the morning and didn't wrap up till 10:30 at night.
I'm telling you, man, people don't realize how hard this stuff really is.
They said it took 6 weeks to prep that scene. That's nuts.
That's insane, man.
There was
and you wonder why. If you're wondering why so many people like this movie, it's just because I don't know, man. It's just the way it's done. But all right, cool.
3 out of 3 on casting.
3 out of 3. So that's 3 out of 10 so far. So we're going to go to our second category in the sloppy horror rating here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast, and that is kills.
Okay.
Kills.
So this department may be the weakest of all categories, but you cannot deny a few things here. Cannot deny a few things here. We do see a man get chopped with an axe. That was pretty nice. We do see some ghosts and skeletons, which linger more to our fear category, but we do see Jack's frozen head. There isn't a whole lot of on-screen kills, but I think if I'm going to have to rate this, I have to give it a 1.5 for kills, because seriously, the axe scene is so brutal and intense, because you kind of, if it's your first time watching this, and this movie's so long that it pulls you back into it even if you haven't. Like I said, the scene builds up very largely where Danny calls out to Dick Halloran, and he manages to make his way to this fucking hotel that's covered in snow. He's got like this fucking snow,
From Florida. It took him like 2 days to get there or something. I don't know, something crazy.
Right. So you see this guy fucking get there, and I don't know. He just walks in, and you're not expecting an axe to the fucking chest. And then the music keys in. It's really hyped up. So I will give this a 1.5 for that, because you do have blood coming out of the elevator doors. I know that's not a kill, but you also do get the flashback scenes of the twins, or they're actually not twins. They're 8 and 10 years old. If you remember Mr. Ullman at the beginning, he said, Charles Grady, he killed his wife and his 2 daughters about age 10 and 8.
Yeah.
So which is weird because they look like twins.
They do.
But you do get flashbacks of their bloody bodies.
Yeah.
So,
and you also get a naked old woman.
Yeah.
With a big bush.
Yep.
But that's not a kill, but, it might as well be a kill because you want
I'd
to see
kill it.
She pretty much was dead, right? So that's a kill. I don't know.
1.5.
1.5. Okay. All right. Well,
4.5, correct?
4.5 out of 10. So we're going to go to the third 3-point category, and that is fear.
So this is obviously the sloppy horror rating. So this is kind of my personal opinion, obviously. And, you got your own opinion, and that's fine, too. If you do not identify with Shelley Duvall, you're probably not going to agree with this. But I'm going to give this the fear that impacted the world, the fear that got everybody as a kid. The reason this movie's still talked about. What do you do when your fucking dad goes nuts? That's fucking scary. There's a lot of layers to this. There's a lot of build-up, a lot of suspension. The music in this really keeps you on it. Even if you don't know this movie and, say if you were watching it and somebody came in and sat down while it's halfway on and you'd hear the fucking music, you're, oh my God, what is this? What's going on?
Yeah.
It kind of pulls you right in there. It's one of those flicks that does that. So I very much am giving this a 3 out of 3 as well. It's done beautifully. The way that the suspense builds up, it pays off in the end. It's not a bunch of pop scares. It's a slow, genuine. Bless you, Mark.
Woo. Dude, you ever sneeze and your back hurts?
Yeah, is that COVID?
No. It's a sneeze, bitch. I got allergies. So, what were you talking about?
Talking about the suspense in this movie makes it a 3 out of 3.
Of course,
because it's an actual fucking movie. This isn't just pop scares. They're like, oh, there's a clown in it. It's scary. I love clowns. We discussed that last episode, but
now this is realistic fear.
It earns your fear. You're not going in like, oh, it's this that's already scary. You don't know. I mean, you're sucked into this fucking story, and I mean that really is scary if your dad goes nuts, especially if he's like been a good guy. Like, I mean, for the most part, all dads have their moments. So, At what moment are you like, no, dad's really going fucking nuts? Like, we gotta kill dad. And it comes to that. Like, even in Amityville Horror, if you will, like the scene at the end where the mom's just like, I'll just go for the remake for the sake of saying, but, the kids are jumping off the roof and she's getting them. And then he pops out, like Ryan Reynolds comes out all like, "Rrr!" and she knocks him out with the fucking butt of the gun. She could have shot him, but she fucking clocked him.
Yeah. You
gotta fight dad. At what point, though? At what point? So 3 out of 3.
Very good. Very good. All right. So that is 7.5.
Correct.
Out of 10. So we're going to go to the last category, and that's the 1-point category to make it an even 10 possible points. And that is, does Christian Ramey, the horror nerd here at the Sloppy Horror Podcast, fuck with this movie?
I wish this point was worth 2 because I would give it. Absolutely. It's the foundation. I know not all horror fans agree, because, like, here's what happens. Like, you get horror critics like myself, and you for that fucking matter, but what'll happen is The Exorcist or The Shining, everyone says. And you know what I mean? Like, they'll do the hipster thing, like, I actually, like, and that's totally cool, but...
It is for what it is. You gotta take it for what the movie actually is and what it's actually going for. If you have a slasher mindset, for example, when you watch this movie, you're not gonna think this movie's scary at all. You have to get into the mindset of the movie and appreciate what the movie is actually trying to do for you and try to present.
Very well said, Ozark.
It's isolation, it's fucking, ghosts and family violence and all that shit. Like you said, what are you gonna do when you're in a hotel by yourself for
And your
4
dad's
months,
going
and your
nuts.
dad's going fucking nuts with an axe. Like, what are you gonna do about it?
And honestly, you're like, is it like his
And
dad like getting
there's-
isolated, or is
yeah,
there ghosts?
yeah.
What the fuck is
I
going
know.
on?
There's
Like,
ghosts giving each other BJs and shit. There's another ghost with bloody just popping up. Like, what do you do? There's a naked woman chasing you and trying to strangle you in one of the rooms. Like, there's not supposed to be anybody there. There's a ballroom filled with people. Like, what do you do?
what do you say you do here?
Exactly. What do you do? You're in a maze in the middle of the night, getting chased by someone who's trying to kill you. Fear.
Spooky stuff,
Some
man.
spooky shit, dude. When you're, it's easy to say it's not scary when you're not in the situation, but
So-
you gotta put yourself in the situation.
So that's a grand total of 8.5, if I can count correct.
8.5 out of 10 for The Shining. I think that's a pretty good score for the Sloppy Horror podcast rating.
Yeah,
think
that's
it's very accurate.
That's pretty sexy.
Yes.